He does all of it for our guys, and I think a big portion of that comes in just his presence on the floor, you know. And I talked about it this morning, not just his physical stature, but just the way in which he communicates with guys, the things he sees on the floor. He does a great job telling guys where to be, covering up a lot of things defensively. So I think those are the pieces that they do go unnoticed, but our guys definitely pay a high level of attention to it.
Go ahead, Tim.
Most I've asked a couple coaches this year, and the magic number used to be 100, and obviously those days are long over. But do you guys have a magic number on defense that you can point to and say, I know nothing's in a vacuum like that, but if you hold a team, is there a number that you have in mind? If we hold a team to this, it was a good night.
You'd like to not give up 30-plus point quarters. I think that's one thing that you try to look at. But the way that the league is scoring right now, it changes night to night, and I think you have to do it more based on what your standard is. The way in which you rebound the basketball, what transition points you gave up. Did you defend the right way without fouling, not putting them on the free throw line? So it's more of the small pieces within the game that you look at more than that final score, and if it's ballooned up a high level, because there's so many teams in this league that are scoring at such a high clip right now.
You mentioned this morning chemistry and the team continuity and whatnot, and how that helps with the roster. How do you avoid messing up the flow of early season success with Wendell Carter returning to the starting lineup?
Well, like anything, anytime you bring someone new after things have been, going in a certain type of flow, there's going to be a difference in the way it looks. But I think the way in which this group works so well together, and to Dan's point about what Wendell does, he does those small things that are the little intangibles that they go unnoticed to the ordinary eye, but our guys recognize them. So what it's going to be, it'll be different, but it's the concept in which in the way in which we play, that will be the same.
Coach, could you tell us about the journey Anthony Black has had this year to go from a 19-year-old rookie to now a guy that's starting for you?
I think his journey has been fantastic. Looking at the way in which he came in, not knowing what it was going to look like for him, and then going through training camp, and then sitting for some games and not playing, and then walking into or earning the starting position in a lot of ways in these moments. I really think that he's grown up a ton, and just being able to be more of himself, the way in which he defends, sits down and guards, he's becoming more of a vocal voice and leader when it comes to the guys and what it is he sees on the floor. His basketball IQ is extremely high, so I think that's a big piece of what allows him to just fit right in. To BD's point, like, guys just fit into what it is we're doing because it's more about the concepts and how we play versus just running plays.
Coach, Eric Spoelstra has been like one of the most accomplished coaches in the game of basketball, and a lot of his success has been predicated upon player development. Can you talk about the job and the impact he's made on the association in terms of in terms of player development, and then also how have you taken any inspiration from him in terms of that?
Being with Spo a couple years ago as his assistant with the USA Select team was a blessing, and then being with the USA team again with the Select team and going with he and Steve and all those coaches, you get to watch him work and the way he details things. He's precise in what he wants and how he's going to go about doing it. So it was great to see that. But the way in which he develops guys, the chemistry that he creates in that culture over there is at a high level. And the thing that has stood out to me the most is that the stability that he has with that organization and the support and the trust that he has, from top to bottom, and not just with the players. I think that goes such a long way in being able to develop a group of guys because they're hearing that same voice and knowing exactly what's wanted, over all of these years.
A lot is made of the Miami Heat's culture. How have you seen your team's culture grow over the last couple of seasons?
Well, starting off, guys understood exactly what we were about. You're going to come in every single day. You're going to compete, for whatever that looks like, whether it's starting position or minutes. You're going to compete every time you touch the floor. We're going to detail our work. We talked about last year leveling up, and these guys are knowing how they have to get better, and that was detailing our work this year. You walk in and you say, we're going to cover for each other on defense, and we're going to play for each other on offense. And then that last piece is like you see how much fun these guys have with and playing for each other. You have to play this game with a sense of joy and enthusiasm every time you touch the floor. So that's who, you know, what the Orlando Magic represent, you know, on a daily and a nightly basis when we play.
Anything else? Thank you, Coach Mose.
Thank you, guys.